Yes, that's right, it's Joe here for Joyrider TV. We are just going to go through the installation of a trampoline on a Hobie 16. This trampoline is custom made from Salt City Sailing. Probably the best value trampolines you can get, but not class legal for racing in the Hobie class. We're going to begin by firstly identify which half is which, and you can identify this by which side has got the pocket on and the toe strap, that is the top. And then the bolt rope is of course going to go into the sidebars. I'd go sidebars first. If it's very tight to get it into the sidebars, I would suggest getting the trampoline wet. That's going to make it slide in much easier. Okay, up in this corner, we just have to pull it beyond the track and then back into the track, thus. Okay, once we've got the side in, we can then feed the trampoline into the front beam. There we go. Okay, next we're gonna fit the back lacing strip. Just wanna make sure that it's the nice side up. So all of the stitching is on the bottom on this one, so putting it in this way. And then we just want to make sure that it is central in the back beam. So the lacing starts at the back casting, there's a hole in it, and then we have a stopper knot to stop that from pulling through. And then when we're lacing the trampoline, we want to go up through the first one, and we're going to make sure we keep going the same way round. This is going to make it much easier to tighten the back strip. But we're not going to pull it tight just yet. I'll just get the first 3 round. And my preference is to actually go around the back beam. This means we can actually get the lacing much tighter. Yes, we're going to lose a little bit, like an inch from the traveller car range, but that's actually going to stop it from hitting the end, which could prevent a traveller blowout. So I'm just going to go around once more. Okay, and then on the middle part of the trampoline, we're going to start where there's 2 cringles closer to each other. We're going to start off by tying the trampoline lacing onto the first one. And then again, we just want to make sure that we're consistent with the direction that we're lacing the trampoline. So up, down, up, and down. Okay, so we're just going to pull a bit of tension on here, and that is just going to hold the corners nicely for when we start doing the back. So I'm just going to pull that on there. I'm going to tie a loose knot here just to keep a bit of tension in there, and now we can start lacing the back. Okay, so with the back, again, it depends on your preference if you've got someone to help. But what I like to do is pull it tight and lace it as I go. So I'm going to pull a good bit of tension there and then just nip it and then pull the next one. We just need to pay attention to the cringles, that we're not pulling the kringle away from the material. And then we're just going to go along here, pulling her tight. Foot on the back beam stops the boat from moving. Okay, and again, I'm just going to tie it off temporarily for now, because then once we've done the middle, we'll do a more permanent job. Okay, this is the other way of doing it, where we lace it all up first and then we pull the tension on. Maybe a bit easier. Okay, once that's done, we can then just start lacing the middle, again making sure we continue going the same way round. Okay, and then to make sure we can get maximum tension on the trampoline, we're actually going to use a set of main sheet blocks, or you could use ratchet straps for the same effect. And we're just going to bend the sidebars in a little bit. Just going to pass a rope halfway along the sidebar, and then I'm just going to attach that to the main sheet block there. Okay, and then just going to pull a little bit of tension on here so it's reasonably tight before we start tensioning it. If you are using rope rather than ratchet straps, it's nice just to put some protection around your sidebar just to make sure that you're not going to make a mess of your grip. Okay, and now we're going to bend the sidebars. We do have to be delicate here, because if you pull this too hard, you could actually break your sidebars. So we're just going to pull this enough so we start to see a very slight curve in the sides. Okay, so that's enough. We can now start tightening that bad boy up. So this is the bit that's not quite as comfortable. Okay, so now we can begin, and we're just going to use this to pull some tension on. And then if you are doing this on your own, you could just hold the tension by holding the rope, just don't let it slip through. Once you've pulled it through on the next piece, I've now got enough so that I could do this with my hands, but it's completely up to you if you want to use something. You might want gloves on, but I'm just going to use my hands. I find it a bit quicker. And then because we've got the sidebars bent, it means we don't have to pull it quite as tight. Again, going to keep an eye on the eyelets to make sure we're not pulling it too hard. And then just shuffling down as we go. Now I've got to where the rope ended, which means it does get a bit more fiddly because kind of lacing it and tightening it as we go. Of course, again, if you've got somebody else to help, that is going to help, but I find it very useful to be able to do everything unaided. Okay, and I'm just actually going to tie this off here because I can finish the rest from the top, which will be a lot easier. Okay, so we can see we've got these creases going across here. So what I'm actually going to have to do, this doesn't happen with all trampolines, but with this particular one, it's happened quite significantly. So I'm just going to loosen this off. Yes, it means we're going to have to do this again, but we want to do a good job, and the same on the other side. So yes, it's a shame to have to do it again, but sometimes if you're going to do a good job, you should do a good job. Okay, so just going to this piece on the back strip in the middle, make a little triangle there. So we've just tied that off loosely there and then going double here. So we can now re-tighten the back and then we'll get rid of these ends. Okay, and like we did with the middle, I'm just finishing this off by going double, Going to tie it off and then we'll get rid of the ends. Okay, so with the tails, I'm just going to go the opposite way to how the lacing was. So we're making a few crosses here, these crosses, and that's just going to help to stop the main sheet from falling through. We're going to do that, of course, in the middle and the other side. Okay, so there we go. She's looking good. I'm now going to remove the main sheet. Okay, and we're just going to finish off by securing the toe straps, taking both ends down through the eye on the back lacing strip, which is in the same spot. Taking it either side, and then we're going to tie a reef knot on top. Okay, and we've got some ends left, so what I'm actually going to do to make it a little bit more secure is just to put a thumb knot in each end, and that's going to stay there now. Okay, so there we go. I think this orange bad boy is really looking pretty sharp. Thanks for watching. Hope this has been helpful, perhaps informative, and maybe even entertaining. I'll be back soon with some more on Joyrider TV.